Behind the Badge, brought to you by Big O Tires.
There's been a big focus this morning on our snowstorm and keeping the roads safe, and rightly so. But when it comes to everyday police work, how do police make sure that dangerous moments don't get out of hand? You hear oftentimes about how they may have used excessive force, but not when they stop something from happening in the first place. Their training to de-escalate situations is a big part of what they do every day in today's Behind the Badge. Police stories that make headlines often mean something happened. A shooting, police chase, drug bust, or SWAT standoff. But you rarely hear what police do to make sure nothing happens.
How often would you say you have to use de-escalation skills on the job?
Every single shift.
The art of talking someone out of doing something.
You gotta help me! My husband, he's acting crazy!
De-escalating the situation is part of what police in Riverton regularly train to do.
This is my baby!
Riverton Police are one of roughly 15 Utah police agencies who come each year to this virtual training center with the State Attorney General's office, learning to de-escalate tense moments on the job.
Bill, put your gun away!
You can experience virtually any situation here that you would encounter on the street.
That's who I am!
Much like the concept of an airline pilot that would go through a flight simulator.
In addition to other training, Riverton officers come here to practice skills like keeping their distance, avoiding words that trigger someone in crisis, finding common ways to connect, to calm someone down, and allowing themselves enough time to make sure the situation ends peacefully. These skills came in handy for Riverton de-escalation instructor, Officer Robert Snell.
I'm just here to talk to you, figure out what's going on. Like I said, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear
who once used them to convince a suicidal teenager, armed with 2 knives, not to kill himself.
You know, I was able to just take the time with this kid, talk to him, see what was going on, figure out what was causing him to feel suicidal in that moment. And he started to realize that it didn't make much sense. We ended up taking him to the hospital for a psychological evaluation, but without having to use force with a person in mental health crisis with 2 edge weapons.
Similar stories seem to play out throughout the department. Of Riverton's 18,000 calls to police in 2021, only 51 ended with police using force.
People look to us to help them with their problems. And when we show up, we don't want to make things worse, we want to make things better. And de-escalation is the key to do that.
Riverton police say the goal is to help everyone come home safe. If they do it right, you may never hear about it. Now, this type of training isn't just limited to Riverton and a handful of police agencies. Police tell me Utah law requires that all agencies are required to be able to complete 16 hours of specialized training for things like de-escalation, making arrests, and handling people with mental health concerns. Live up Harley's Canyon, Brian Carlson, ABC4 News. Back to you.